Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here at the Travel Leaders Network EDGE conference here in Nashville, and I'm here with a familiar face because we talk to this man every year we're here, Roger Block, who's president of Travel Leaders Network. Now, we're at the sort of the last day of the show, and a lot's been going on, so we're going to sort of get a summary from Roger about this conference and an update on what's going on with Travel Leaders Network, and you'll find out about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. Roger, first of all, great to see you. Always have a great time seeing you here at EDGE. And we see each other at a lot of other conferences, too. Yes. We just got back from ASTA.
That was last week.
That was last week. What's next? Where are we going next week?
I'm taking a week off. I don't know about you.
Where are you going? I'll just come with you. Home?
Home.
Well, we got to find a place to go.
No, we don't. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm heading on. I'm going to another conference. But anyway, let's get serious here and talk a little bit about Travel Leaders Network. Well, let's talk about the numbers first. I mean, let's talk about the thing everybody loves these days. How are sales for 2023 for your members?
Well, thank you for being here first, James.
I wouldn't miss it.
I know it's you're on the road all the time. You're on the road more than I am, and for you to take your time really means a lot to us. So thank you for being here. 2023 is shaping up to be the best year we've ever had. Leisure sales from luxury down to mass market, all up double digits. Some are up 30, 40, 50, 60%. Wow. Depending on the category. It's just an incredible year. The problem I think most of our advisors have, most of our agencies have, we can't find qualified staff. So
I know, that is the problem.
So we've introduced a number of training programs to help people when they recruit new people to the industry, to help them train their new advisors. But it is still the number one problem. It's bad when someone says, "Don't give me any more leads." Seriously, we have a program called...
You ever think you're going to hear that after 2 years of COVID?
No. But they said, please, take us down for a while. We just don't have the staff to handle our existing customers. So it's incredible. It's such a good year.
And even last year, thank you. Absolutely. Last year, 22 was a real comeback year, and now 23 surpassing it. And I understand 24 could be even better.
24 is looking to be incredible. As you know, people are booking longer and longer out. I was talking to an advisor earlier in the show, and they were saying they had a customer who wanted to go on a Christmas cruise, river Christmas cruise, and as you know, it's very hard. I mean, most of them are sold out. Yeah. So they convinced the people to book for 24 river cruise Christmas already. And I'm hearing that just anecdotally throughout the conference.
Well, actually, your colleague and the president of Travel Leaders Group, John Lovell, we had an interview earlier. He said this is the best of times to be a travel agent, a travel advisor, I should say, and which who would have thought?
I know. When you think back just 2.5 years ago, people wondered what was going to happen.
We were all going to go out of business, right?
Well, if it would have continued much longer and without government aid, many of our members would not have been here today. So thank you for the PPP programs and the other financial aids. Thank you to Royal Caribbean for their loan programs and everyone else that helped. It was a very dark time. Yeah. I mean, I talked to a number of our members who were at the end. This was before PPP came out, and they said, "I'm out of money. Yeah. Do you have anybody that's interested in buying me? Because I'm on the edge of losing everything."
Right.
And I think that's pretty universal for most of the agencies throughout the United States. So
no, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. Now you have a strong comeback for leisure sales, but you got a lot of members that sell corporate as well. How are corporate sales doing this year?
They're not as good as leisure. When I talk to our agencies, depending on the agency, depending on the corporate mix they have, and it's really kind of interesting. They're anywhere from about 85% of 2019 all the way to to say 150%. But if you had to do an average, I would say it's probably about 95% back to 19 levels. People are not taking obviously as many business trips. You know, it used to be that you were a road warrior. You'd leave on Monday and you'd come back on Thursday or whatever it was, and you'd be gone 3 weeks out of 4. That has contracted some. But what we are seeing is more small meetings with agency or with businesses going virtual. They're having to get their people back together, at least on a semi-regular basis, talk about new products, new services, new whatever they're doing, and they're finding that getting everyone in the same room for, say, 2 or 3 days is very effective. So there's more of that today than there was.
It's changed the dynamic, and I think eventually it's going to come back to a certain level of where your corporate sales is going to be back to what it was, maybe in a different way, as you mentioned.
Absolutely, and you still have to go out and see your customers. I mean, that's one of the things I think people forget is that at the end of the day, it's about relationships. I don't care whether you're selling big software packages or, you know, a Caterpillar bulldozer. People want to get to know you. They want to trust you.
Right.
They want to know that you're going to stand behind the product, whatever it is. And you can only do that face-to-face. Zoom meetings only go so far.
I know, absolutely. Now, let's talk about the health of Travel Leaders Network in terms of members, the number of members you have. Now, I know you have 2 categories of membership, but where are you today? What are the numbers roughly that you have for? You have your affiliates, and then you have your franchises, right?
Correct, and we call them the associates. What's interesting is during the pandemic, we did have a lot of consolidation, but through the growth of last year and continuing on this year, we're about 75 members larger than we were in 2019.
That's amazing.
I mean, we have had a very good year, both last year and this year, in recruiting members, and I think it's really due to the strength of a number of our products that we have, or our services that we have. When we start talking about some of those things, we'll get into more detail, but it's ways to help the agencies grow their business, to add more profitability, the types of marketing programs we have. One of the things that we do, for example, is we do not charge for our marketing materials, so it's both printed and digital is included in the program. It's just a whole breadth of services, and when you look at the types of programs, whether it's from ultra luxury all the way to mass market, because the nice thing about our group is, yes, we're the largest by far. We're well north of 5,000 members, both in the United States and Canada. But when you look at the breadth of what we cover, we've been able to develop programs for each niche. And so when you look at the amount of luxury we sell, or the amount of premium we sell, or the amount of corporate we sell, or the amount of any specialty, we have enough agencies that we are able to go out, work with suppliers that specialize in that product to develop programs for them. And when people look at actually what we have, we're not what we used to be, I will say that. We're attracting more and more larger agencies.
Yeah, I know you got a few that came in this year. In fact, I was talking to Jeff Anderson of Avoya Travel, who is now a member, and this is his first Edge, although he was hanging around the outskirts, checking you out last year, right?
Yeah, Jeff looked at every one of our competitors, and they looked. It was an interesting analysis they went through, and he's kind of shared it with us. And yet when it came right down to it, and you looked at everything we had, he goes, "Can't believe it."
Yeah, he definitely, and I remember talking to him. I talked to him last night about it. Now, let's talk about some of those products that you mentioned. We're just going to do sort of a 20 questions, or actually about 4 questions. Okay. We're not going to go to every single product because you really had so much more that you have here. But one of the ones that impressed me was you're rolling out a new cruise booking engine. It's called Cruise Complete.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And it's replacing Cruise Pro. Tell us a little bit about that and what the implications of that are.
Well, Cruise Pro was developed probably 15, 18 years ago.
Right.
So when you take any technology it's that old, there's a lot of things it didn't have that in today's world we need to have. So the first thing, it was U.S. only currency in Cruise Pro. So the new product is both U.S. and Canadian. So that's wonderful for them. But it gets a lot more than that. It's comparison pricing up to 4 different departures. It's It's multiple cabin being able to book in one booking.
And this is for your, I think, 22 lines that are your preferred partners, right?
Yes, and it's actually non-preferred or listed as well.
Okay.
So we're trying to get every possible cruise line that has an API, that has a booking capability in there. It just makes it so much more efficient for our agencies. And we all know that they're spending hours on hold because everyone in this industry, not just the agencies and the advisors, everyone needs more staff.
Yeah.
And some of the new staff that some of the cruise lines have brought in aren't up to speed yet.
Yeah, everybody's getting retreading their staff and trying to get people back. Right?
Absolutely. So what Cruise Complete does, it really makes the booking process more efficient. There's more information there, but it makes it much more quicker for the advisor. There's just so many features that it does that it's incredible how powerful the thing is. It lists all the group space that we have, both our amenity groups plus also our distinctive voyages, which is the escorted group product that we have. But the agencies can put their groups in it.
Okay.
So when their advisors look for a particular package that the customer might be interested, it's highlighted which ones is, for example, your agency group, our group space, which gives better pricing, for the end customer and the advantages it may have. So it's things like that trying to make it easier for the advisor to be able to service the customer as well as possible.
Now, I understand that's all going to be ready and rolling out by June, I think.
Correct. It's already in beta. We have a number of agencies testing it now, and it is going amazingly well for new technology, and we're going to be rolling it out to everyone by second quarter.
Fantastic. Well, it was a very impressive product, and that sort of stood out. You mentioned it at the beginning of your talk. And then let's just stay on the tech front for a little while, because then you also mentioned that you're also looking at developing, you're in the process of developing an overall booking engine for air, hotel, car. Where are you with that project, and when will that be out?
That product is also developed. We have 550 advisors already in beta on that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people say, well, I don't sell air. I only sell tours and cruises. Well, the reality is you are selling air, because every time you sell a tour, you sell a cruise, the client has to get from point A to wherever it is, and you're missing money. Yeah. And through our program, it's a point-and-click system. It's GUI interface. It'll build not only the air, car, hotel package, but also you can import the cruise part or the tour part, so you can create one clean itinerary for the customer. But the most important thing really is you can make money.
Well, that was one of the things. This dates about 10 years ago, and I wrote a story for an old publication I had and it was based on your interview where I said, make money selling air, which was, after years of saying, why bother with the air? Right. Because they cut the commission. The sad fact, the true fact was that commissions were still being paid to specific partners, right?
Right, and it may be only $10 for, say, a domestic flight, but it could get up to $1,500, $2,000 or more for a business class overseas. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our advisors are selling cruises to the Med or to the Pacific, and the customer doesn't want to fly in 44J or that middle seat in the back. You're buying a suite and you're going to put them in coach for 14 hours. I mean,
no, and the whole thing is that you have control over the entire trip, not just you say, well, I booked you the cruise and I booked you all the excursions and everything else. You go get your own air. This is not
and we also know several cruise lines, their air departments are not highest priority, and they won't tell you what the airline is. They won't tell you the departure time at the time you're booking the cruise, and customers want to have that all put together. Right. So with our product, they're going to be able to book whatever airline they want, whatever class of service they want, whatever seats they want, and get it confirmed now.
That's great.
So make more money at it.
More money, absolutely. Now, when's the projected timeline of this be really rolling out? You're doing it in beta now, but
we're shooting for the fourth quarter. Okay. And being the fact that we're in beta and it's going well so far. I mean, it's just several weeks into it. So, unless there's a major problem, we fully anticipate December will be rolling.
I hate to ask you another technology question. I thought you should be the CTO these days.
No.
But you are also looking at changing up and renewing or rejuvenating your agent universe, which you've had forever. I mean, as far as what are you going to do to that, and when is the projected timeline for that?
Well, Agent Universe is so huge. It is our central.
It's the big intranet for all the whole team.
It has all of our programs. It has all of our products, but more importantly, it has industry data. It has links to every supplier. It has everything. One of the nice things we're doing is we're having single sign-on, for example. So Cruise Complete, you sign into Agent Universe, you can get into that booking engine. You sign into Agent Universe, you'll get into the Air Car Hotel booking engine. So, but there's, again, it's older technology. The search capabilities of what we used to have, or what, when we developed it versus today, night and day difference. So we're really up in that. We're redesigning it to make finding the information easier, cleaner, and it's going to be based on the new technology versus 10 years ago technology.
That's great. That's good. I'm sure your members are going to appreciate that. Now, one last sort of technology question, but getting into marketing. You developed this product called Agent Profiler, where you put profiles of your members with all their data, all their information about what they sell and who they are and where they go on your travelleaders.com site.
Correct.
And it's searchable by Google, and I've tested it, and it really does. You can pull up a Travel Leaders agent pretty quick compared to a lot of the other folks, and you did a great job with that. But you have improved that as well, and talk a little, and also that is what generates your leads, and you've actually really increased the number of leads that you're giving to your members too. But talk a little bit about that product.
Well, first of all, that product has been in development for over 10 years, and we constantly refine it, constantly refine the algorithms, constantly looking at how Google does their searches. Right. And it's amazing to me that you can search for, let's say, travel expert for blah.
Right.
And many times in Google, our advisors will be above the paid search guys. Which is
important. You get a million. I remember you scroll down a page and you finally get to what you're looking for. Right. But in this case, you're up there.
We are up there. But what it really is it's people are looking for expertise. They're looking for experience. They want, if they're taking especially a more sophisticated trip, they want to talk to somebody that really knows whatever that destination is, or whatever that lifestyle is, or whatever it might be. And they don't want to talk to a generalist. I mean, they're spending a lot of money. And we're finding that the results we're getting, our close rate still remains around a little bit above 25%. Average transaction is about $6,700.
Not bad.
No, it's even better than that, because what we're also finding is a huge percentage want to book groups. And when I'm saying it's a group, it's not 16 cabins or whatever, but I want to travel with 2 or 3 or 4 other couples. Right. So the way we get the information is through the CRMs. Most people, when they build the CRM, say, like, I'm doing the booking, but you're traveling too, is that your record is not tied to mine in the CRM as a lead for Agent Profiler.
Got it.
So we're finding that the average transaction is much, much higher. And we're selling around the world cruises. We're selling 90-day cruises. We're selling, it's amazing.
And some of these folks have never used a travel agent before, travel advisor before.
Yes, and Stephen McGilvery, our Chief Marketing Officer, in the opening session was showing an actual lead where the customer said, I want to do this. It was a nice trip too, but I've never used a travel advisor. Tell me how this works. I mean, those are the kind we just absolutely love to get.
You think after how many years of this, they wouldn't. Yes. They still don't know how, but then they find it. So that's great, and then hopefully they'll keep using a travel advisor.
So yes, and we do some search engine, paid search engine, but because of the content and the way we're training our advisors to write their profiles, to make it relevant to what the consumers are looking for. It is just amazing. We're already ahead well, last year we generated over 200,000 leads. Through the first quarter, we have over 100,000 already.
Amazing. That's like that.
And it's booming. It's booming.
No, and that is a great thing to finally have a place on the web where you can, when you're searching for a travel advisor, you can find one.
Yes.
Everybody says, I would use a travel advisor, but I can't find one. I said, well, go to Google, and you'll probably find somebody there, and I probably would be one of your members.
And you know what's really strange? It could be as general, a specialist, as I'm a cruise expert, which we really don't recommend at all.
Right.
One of the most interesting one is I'm a celiac expert.
Oh my God! Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah,
So, but if you have a celiac disease, you're looking to talk to someone who understands your problems and how you travel and not have gluten in all your food.
Yeah, that's
so, and which, say, cruise lines specialize in that, which ones don't, because some are better at it than others.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think this is a great product, and you keep on working on it and improving it and getting more leads and generating more business for your members. Now, the last question I'll have with you on the programs, there are a lot more, and we'll talk about others you might want to highlight, but is your alliances. You form these groups of members who focus on certain parts of travel, so luxury. You have for your host agencies, I think you have one, and then you have one for honeymoon and romance, and you're actually expanding that program. But talk a little bit about this alliance structure, because I missed those meetings. They were all held right before this conference, but you actually brought in the members who have signed up for those areas whose agencies specialize in that or are part of that. Talk a little bit about what the purpose of these are.
Well, again, when we started talking about the size of travel leaders, and most people think, oh my God, they're so big. Well, if you think about it, what we are is a collection of various specialties. Could be corporate travel. We have an alliance for that. It's called Business Travel Plus. You mentioned honeymoon and destination weddings, luxury travel, etc. So what we're doing is saying, what are all the various niches that we have a number of agencies who specialize in that, and it could be multiple, actually. And what we want to do is bring them together, form a community, let them get together for all-day meetings at our Conference and Edge, and also regular conference calls throughout the year, and other types of things, for example, but during the meetings, share, say for destination weddings. It's not just selling the destination wedding. What are all the add-ons you could possibly provide to the customer, or suggest to the customer, to make that wedding special? And if you start thinking, oh, that's a great idea, or that's a great idea.
Yeah, well, it's a brainstorming thing.
Yes, and each one of these things obviously adds to the price, but it also adds to the profitability of the transaction. But the customer is more satisfied too. So the purpose of these alliances is to share and allow all of us to get better. So host, we talk about legal actions. Yep. That's always a big one, and we bring in,
especially even today, where we got some issues that are going on at the national level with classification of independent contractors.
Absolutely.
And you're familiar with that. We just got back from ASTO, where that was a huge issue, but that's the kind of thing.
That one, for example, we brought in 2 travel attorneys. We brought in one from Canada because they have different laws. We brought in one from the U.S. So we'll have outside speakers talking about specific issues that different focus group needs to hear about. Absolutely. So it's going to continue to expand. We've got about 4 more on the books, but we can only roll out so many at a time. Yeah. But it's something that's very rewarding. The participation level of the people that are in the alliances is incredibly strong. I mean, they all come. They want to share. I mean, that's one of the mandates is, yes, you qualify in terms of sales. It's not for people who are, I want to be a host.
Right.
We have other education for that type of thing. But the alliances, there's a minimum qualification of how long you've been doing it, how many independent contractors you have. In other words, you're serious about it. You're a player in it.
And then you also have to show up at the...
Yes, but you have to show up, or else you're not in the alliance. But more importantly, you have to share. And that's the thing that Travel Leaders is really becoming a tight-knit family. Even though we're huge, but we're becoming a family in all these alliances or communities. And we all realize, we compete, but not really. This market is so big. There are so many customers looking for solid advice and expertise that the more we share, the better we get. And the better we get,
well, that's the whole part of being a network. I mean, that's it.
It really is.
You got to be a network, and you got to share and communicate, and really, come up with new ideas and solutions for your customers. So I think it's a great thing. I hope next year I'll try to get in a little earlier and check out some of these alliances because they sound fascinating. Now, last question is, we've talked about a lot of things. Anything else you want to highlight about? I know there's a million things that happen here, but anything else that you feel that you really want to get out to the market about?
First of all, the excitement of our members is unbelievably high. I can't remember a year where sales and profitability is as high as I'm hearing people talk today. So that's good news, and after the last few that we've been through, it's just so wonderful to hear. This market is changing. We had a professor from Vanderbilt talking about artificial intelligence and how it's going to impact the travel business. And what's really interesting is even the smallest agency can use AI to do various things in marketing, and he was going through how that's working. But more importantly, he was talking about how AI could expand over the next few years. Yes, there could be threats, but there could be great opportunities. So it's so many of those kind of things that we're doing at this conference that it's not just the basic education of how to sell or how to qualify. We have 5 different tracks of education, one for the new to the industry, because we all got into this business at some point. We all didn't know a darn thing.
You need more people in the industry too. That's the other thing.
So we really have to develop education for the very basic level, but then we have to have education for people who have been in it 10, 15 years. For owners, that's a whole different level of education. When you get into managing a business and focusing on your profitability and how to manage people and how to hire people, that's totally different skill sets than selling travel. So it is we are just continue to expand, think of new ways, and I got to say this, I can't thank our advisory board enough, because we sit down with them on a regular basis and just brainstorm about, okay, we're doing all these wonderful things, how can we do them better? Or what things don't
Sure, they have an opinion. Right?
Oh, yeah, of course, that's why we select them, or they get voted on to serve on the advisory board. If you just sit there and don't say a darn thing, quite honestly, you're not helping anybody. So we choose the people who are opinionated, who are successful, and encourage them to run. And
it's a great thing. And of course, as we all know, and we were both at ASTA together, the travel advisor profession is a growth industry right now. It's more people are entering the market. It is actually a desirable profession. We're gone are the days when everybody's saying, I didn't think travel advisors were around anymore. You
can't make any money doing it. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah. And then I go in my spiel about, think about it. It's not like you're not going to work hard, but it is an incredible profession where you can sell something everybody likes. You can do a lot of travel yourself and learn about the products that you sell. And if you're an independent contractor, you can do your own work, but you're going to work hard.
Yes.
And then the final thing is you can make 6 figures.
Yes, very true. And we have many, many, many that are multiple 6 figures. And you just look at that, and as you said, this has got to be the best industry in the world.
It's the best industry to cover from my perspective too. Where can travel advisors go to learn more about maybe how to join Travel Leaders Network? Where can they find out more about that?
We would love you to look at us. I think you'll be amazed at what the breadth of services we have, and it's travelleadersnetwork.com. Okay. TravelLeadersNetwork.com.
If you go to TravelLeaders.com, you're going to get all those profiles. You might take a look at that and see what that's, because if you're part of this group, you too can have a profile up on that thing as well.
Absolutely. Look at them both, because you can search by destination, by interest, by location. Say you want to find an agency in Walla Walla, Washington. we have an agency there. So
Fantastic. Well, Roger, I want to thank you for taking the time. You did a great job with this, really summarizing this conference. It's once again been a great conference, and we're looking forward to next year. I'm sure I'll see you before then.
I'm sure.
But again, great to see you here.
Thanks so much, James. We love you having here. By the way, next year is June 8th through the 11th at Washington, D.C. area.
I'll be there.
Good enough. Put it on your books.
I got it. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.